न वेदवादान् अनुवर्तते मतिः स्व एव लोके रमतो महामुनेः यथा गतिर्देवा मनुष्य पार्था एव धर्मे न परम शिपे स्थितः न वेदवादान् अनुवर्तते मतिः स एव लोके रमतो महामुनेः यथा गतिर्देवा मनुष्यो पार्था स एव धर्मे न परम शिपे स्थितः न वेदवादान् अनुवर्तते मुनिः स एव लोके रमतो महामुनेः स एव धर्मेण परम शिपे स्थितः न वेदवादान् अनुवर्तते मतिः स एव लोके रमतो महामुनेः स एव धर्मे मनुष्यो प्रथा स एव धर्मेण परम शिपे माताजी न वेदवादा अनुवर्तते मतिः स एव लोके रमतो महामुनेः यथा गतिर्देवा मनुष्यो पार्थ स एव धर्मेण परम शिपे स्थितः न वेदवादान् अनुवर्तते मतिः स एव लोके रमतो महामुनेः यथा गतिर्देवा मनुष्यो पार्थ स एव धर्मेण परम शिपे स्थितः What the word meaning? Na, not. Vedavadam, rules and regulations of the Vedas. Anuvartate, follow. Matihi, the mind. Sway, in his own. Eva, certainly. Loke, self. Ramataha, enjoying. Mahamunehe, of elevated transcendentalist. Yatha, as. Gati, the way. Deva Manushyoho, of the man and the demigods. Prathak, separately. Sway, in your own. Eva, alone. Dharme, occupational duty. Na, not. Param, another. Shipet, should criticize. Titaha, being situated. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. It is better to execute one's own occupational duty than to criticize others. Elevated transcendentalists may sometimes forego the rules and regulations of the Vedas, since they do not need to follow them. Just as the demigods travel in space, whereas ordinary men travel on the surface of the earth. Purport. The behavior of the most elevated transcendentalists and that of the most fallen conditioned souls appears to be the same. The elevated transcendentalists can surpass all the regulations of the Vedas, just as the demigods traveling in space surpass all the jungles and rocks on the surface of the globe. Although a common man who has no such ability to travel in space has to face all those impediments. Although the most dear Lord Shiva appears not to observe all the rules and regulations of the Vedas, he is not affected by such disobedience. But a common man who wants to imitate Lord Shiva is mistaken. A common man must observe all the rules and regulations of the Vedas, which a person who is in the transcendental position does not need to observe. Daksha found fault with Lord Shiva for not observing all the strict rules and regulations of the Vedas. But Sati asserted that he had no need to observe such rules. It is said that for one who is powerful like the sun or the fire, there is no consideration of purity or impurity. The sunshine can sterilize an impure place, whereas if someone else were to pass such a place, he would be affected. One should not try to imitate Lord Shiva. Rather, one should strictly follow one's prescribed occupational duties. One should never willfully a great personality. मम ज्ञानातिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकम् हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपिशा गोपिका श्रीराधा कान्ता नमोऽस्तुते तप्त कांचना गौरांगी श्रीराधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विश्वभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पश्चाति देशतारिणी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधार शिवासादि श्री गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे Hare Krishna. So today's verse is the answer to Daksha by his own daughter Sati, because in chapter 2, here it says Daksha curses Lord Shiva, verse number 13. He said something which is not very pleasant to the eyes of other Vaishnavas. Because when Lord Shiva heard this, it didn't affect him. Because the rules and regulation, honor and dishonor for a transcendentalist who is above the three modes of material nature doesn't affect him at all. He just ignored it. He just heard, didn't respond, didn't react for anything. He was being neutral. So that is the sign of an advancement. In this text number 13 of chapter 2, Daksha says, I had no desire to give my daughter to this person, to Shiva, who has broken all the rules of civility. Because of not observing the required rules and regulations, he is impure. But I was obliged to hand over my daughter to him just as one teaches the message of the Vedas to a Sudra. So today's verse we see how Mother Sati, when she heard all the blasphemy against her husband, because all the associates of Lord Shiva, when they went there with Lord Shiva, one sense she was also there somewhere, and she heard what her father has said to her. And to answer that question, which Daksha was so puffed up, because it shows how strictly he was following the rules and regulations of the Vedas. But here she completely defeats him from the another Vedas. She says a transcendentalist doesn't have to follow all those things. It's completely doesn't have to follow on those things. Because in the type they don't follow the Vedas or the rules and regulations of the Vedic instruction. The first is the person who is in completely mood of ignorance. Okay, he doesn't follow at all. For him, the destination is hell, or the punishment is there waiting for him or her. And the second one is the person who is completely liberated or completely transcendently. He doesn't follow. So the Vedas, the rules and regulations for the completely conditioned soul, those who are stuck in this material world and they want to be independent all the time. To remind them that you are not independent, you are still under the control of material energy, we have to follow the rules and regulations of the Vedas. Okay, and the example has given here because there are different levels of human beings are living on a different planets, have different lifestyle, they have different time frames, and they have different whatever the strategy and many things you can add it. But if the person who is on an earthly planet, he doesn't have a power to travel. If he says that in terms of seeing the demigods, those who can fly, he can say, look at that, these people are not following the rules and regulations. They don't need to do because they are much highly elevated. Let me give you an example. I don't know about here in America, but in India, if any minister or a big personality, when they go on the road, so the traffic signs and many other signals are not meant for them. Have you seen it? They just block everything just to let them go because they are so important personalities. They have many more important things to do for the welfare of the human society. So they do not follow. But the ordinary people, they do get stopped. They have to follow the lights. They have to let the pedestrian go. And there are many other things they need to follow. Hmm? No, they do follow, but they don't follow. The punishment is waiting for them in the form of fines. We can see that. The police catch them, or somebody else catch them, or they met with an accident. It's not that they don't follow, but those who don't follow, they have fear, bear the consequences of their mistakes. And here, the same thing is happening with this Lord Shiva here. Okay, what is lifestyle? If you see, what is lifestyle? Yeah. Yeah, he's completely naked. But if a person of this material world walk naked, people will call him mad. Okay. Instead of in material world, people they do wear kind of a perfume. They smear sandalwood pulp and many other things to groom themselves. But Lord Shiva, he smears the body, so the ashes of a dead body. Okay. People wear garland. Okay, made of flowers, and he wears the garland made of skulls, bones. People like to live in a hotel or a very sophisticated place, okay, very posh area, very fancy, clean area. But where is his place? Most of the time, he lives in crematorium, okay, or under the banyan tree. But what is main activity? What he's doing? He's constantly meditating at the lotus feet of the Lord Supreme, Lord Shri Hari. That's his main focus. And he doesn't have to do it. But when the people jealous out of envy by seeing the advancement or the position of other person, they out of jealousy, they blaspheme the person. That's what the Daksha did. Okay, Daksha is also not an ordinary person. He was being appointed by his father, Lord Brahma. He was doing a work of the Supreme Lord. Supreme Lord Vishnu told Brahmaji, now you do the creation. Okay, I gave you all the ingredients, take it and just do the population. And further, he expanded himself into many other living entities. The great seven sages, Chatur Kumaras, and Lord Shiva, everything has come out. And he asking everybody, please kindly engage yourself to populate this world. He's not an ordinary person, but sometime in the material world, the position is so intoxicated, the person forgets even to blaspheming the person who gave him the position. He tried to rule over the person who gave him the position. If you see in the case of Daksha here, who gave him the position to be the head of all the Prajapatis? Brahmaji. Brahmaji gave him the position, you are the head. As soon as he entered the arena, the whole world, I mean, all the great sages, they all stood up for his honor. Everybody. There were thousands and millions of people were there. They all accept the two personalities, Brahmaji and Shiva. So Daksha said, okay, anyway, the person who is my father, he should not meant to stand up for me. I can understand. But how about this naked man? This uncivilized man, why he shouldn't? Because he was seeing himself superior from many angles. First angle, I am his father-in-law. So I am on the position of as father. Second, I am the great Prajapatis. I am more advanced than him. And then many more things unfold. Okay, due to that intoxication, being a superior person in the society, he started blaspheming, not recognizing the actual position of Lord Shiva, who he is actually. In a Manasiksha, I'm just reading that nowadays, in the fifth chapter, fifth verse of that Manasiksha, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami says that on the path of bhakti, a person meet six kinds of enemies. Kama Krodha, Lobha Moha, Mad Matsarya. Kama, lust. Krodha, anger. Lobha, greed. Mada, illusion. And Matsya, enviness. These six, they are on a highway. They are there to attack you, a spiritual practitioner. They are there to attack. They are there to defeat the person. And in the sixth verse, Raghunath Das Goswami very beautifully explained, even if a spiritual practitioner has defeated these six enemies, has and deceit, which means you show the world that you are not what you are showing. Sometimes devotees show themselves in cause of maturity, try to put themselves in the category of such an advanced Vaishnava that they don't want to follow the regulations. And it says in that verse, I would like to read just a couple of paragraphs. Please stay with me. It says, there are three levels of sadhakas, means there are three levels of spiritual practitioners. Okay, they are engaged in the service of the Lord fully. Externally, you look, this person is so focused, okay, so dedicated to the Lord. Everybody feels that, but internally, he has to fight with himself. He knows what he is. Lord knows what he is. Who knows what he is. But just to have a name and fame in the society, to have a prestige in the society, he shows himself he's such an advanced person. Okay. The first level is Swanishtha. You say Swanishtha household holders devotee, it's not just only householder, it could be in any of the ashramas. It meant for brahmachari, householder, vanaprastha, and sannyasi. It meant for everybody. But it says Swanishtha householder devotees only try to please Krishna without the need of varna ashram dharma. Okay. And because being puffed off of their position, what they do, a Sonistha devotee may exhibit hypocrisy by seeking sense enjoyment instead of pleasing the Lord, serving rich materialistic instead of friendship with the rich people. Okay, because rich people will my bodily needs. They will buy some jackets for me. They will buy some phones for me. They will buy some tickets for me to go and here and there. Desiring to accumulate wealth and opulence, or engaging in twisted logic in spiritual knowledge. Instead of giving them the right hammering, cutting their detachment, they present the spiritual knowledge in a such a way that these people to whom he is preaching, they will help him for his bodily need, for his material opulence. You know what, Mataji, Prabhuji, Veda says such a lie that if you serve such an elevated Vaishnava, fulfill all his need, you will go back to Godhead. Instead of engaging them in actual Vaishnava service, he put himself in the Vaishnava's position. What Srila Prabhupada says, who is actual Vaishnava? A Vaishnava, he sees other Vaishnava, other people who are doing engage in the service, and he himself as a neophyte devotee. But here, he himself called, I'm a very great Vaishnava, so you should all have to engage in my service. Now, the second level of sadhaka, which is a spiritual practitioner. Parinishta householder, devotee, worship the Lord by engaging in prescribed activities and rituals. They do rituals. So now, what is the hypocrisy here? A Panishta devotee may exhibit hypocrisy by pretending to be very strict, following the rules and regulations, but privately being attached to mundane things, or by preferring the company of non devotees. They show themselves in the congregation or in the community of Vaishnava that how strict they are following the rules and regulations of their particular ashram. A very strict brahmachari, a very strict householder, grasta, very strict vanaprastha, and very strict sannyasi. They show themselves, but internally, what is going on in their mind? They are having a private life. A devotee, he should have a private life. There is no such thing private life. He should be open. Because when he is open, then his seniors can see the fault in him and they can correct him. But if he's going to have his own private room, own private phone, own private Wi-Fi, own private many other things, so what will happen to him? He will watch those nonsense activities which he should not have to supposed to watch it. These are another thing. And the third one is nirpeksha devotees are detached and live as a renunciates. How they think? A nirpeksha devotee may exhibit hypocrisy by thinking, it's very powerful, pay your attention, I am an advanced Vaishnava. He's completely renounced. It could be in any of the ashrama, brahmacharya, householder, vanaprastha, sanghasta. They show themselves, they're so advanced, acting superior to others.